Starting now, this is your local news leader, News 10 ABC in the morning.
2 victims being treated for injuries after yet another shooting in the capital city. What Albany police are now saying about that incident.
Today, we're closer than ever to declaring our independence from a deadly virus.
The Biden administration coming up short in its July 4th nationwide vaccination goal. A look at which states are currently leading the pack.
And while some raced ahead, others marched behind. The flags for fallen honored 2 local heroes in a special way this 4th of July weekend.
Good morning, everybody, and thank you for joining us. I'm News 10 Stephanie Rivas in for Christina this morning.
Good morning. Nice to see you. I'm Ryan Peterson. Hope everybody had a wonderful 4th. In fact, if you're working today, most likely have it off as it's being observed officially this Monday. Jill, and what's this July 5th have for us weather-wise?
The best weather of the holiday weekend's coming in today, so
nice.
Worth our wait to kind of be a little bit patient here, as we certainly saw improvements yesterday. I'll keep on seeing those improvements as we go through the day, but a little tricky here starting off this morning. If you are off to work dark and early, you're going to find a little bit of patchy, dense fog, and you can see that reduced visibility over Siena College this morning. Live look there, of course, in Loudonville. In some cases, through the Hudson Valley over into western New England, you may find visibility in spots. It's down near half a mile this morning, but with the sun coming up, we'll be burning that off quickly, and we should see a really nice start to the day. Temperatures are very comfortable on this July the 5th. We're down into the 50s in most cases. Lower 50s right now for North Creek, also into Pittsfield, where it's 52. We're 54 in Albany, also in Glens Falls. Touch warmer in Bennington and Cobleskill. Meanwhile, you're hanging on to 60 in Hudson here as we're starting off the day. As we go into the afternoon, with sunshine, temperatures get a bit of a boost. It really was a cool holiday weekend so far. That changes today as we'll send high temperatures into the upper 70s, possibly even pushing 80 degrees in some spots. So again, well worth the wait to enjoy today. Plenty of outside time, but as you're heading back to work, we're bringing in the muggies, and then eventually we'll also introduce more shower and storm chances. We'll talk about that unsettled stretch in about 10 minutes in your Storm Tracker forecast. Stephanie.
All right, thank you, Jill. We're going to take a quick look at those drive times this morning. You have your Northway commute at 20 minutes right now, Rensselaer County commute at 7 minutes, and your Thruway commute is just at 6 minutes right now. Now, we always have your traffic when you need it. Head to our website, news10.com, or simply download the News 10 ABC app to customize your traffic alerts.
Albany police are investigating a shooting that occurred last night along Morton Avenue. Police say they responded to the area of Morton and Eagle around 8:40 last night. Shortly after the call, staff from Albany Med notified police that 2 men had come into the ER with gunshot wounds to their arms. Both victims were treated there for what we're told were non-life-threatening injuries. At this time, the investigation is ongoing. Anyone with information encouraged to reach out to Albany PD or remain completely anonymous by utilizing Capital Region Crime Stoppers. That info right there on your screen.
Police in Gloversville say they have found the suspect in a shooting that happened earlier this week. Police arresting Solomon Wilson in Jamaica, New York yesterday morning. Wilson is connected to a shooting July 1st on 6th Avenue in Gloversville. Police say a 46-year-old man was shot in the back during that incident. Gloversville police had been looking for Wilson ever since this first happened. Luckily, they got some help from the FBI to carry out that arrest. Wilson is in custody right now, waiting out for that next court action.
The FBI's Albany office is planning the return of its Citizens Academy. That program is meant to give the community a better understanding of the organization's work. Nominations may be submitted by FBI employees, community leaders, and other Citizens Academy graduates. Community members can nominate each other for the program until Friday, July 9th. For more on the criteria candidates need to be nominated, simply head to our website, news10.com.
This morning, normal operations have resumed at JFK Airport following a water leak that caused many incoming flights to be put on hold. Airport officials also confirming on Twitter that the rainy weather contributed to the significant interruptions. Nearly 300 flights have been delayed or diverted on what was the busiest travel weekend since the start of this pandemic. While things are back to normal, travelers may still experience some residual delays and are also encouraged to check in with their airlines regarding the status of their flights. And transportation officials over in Vermont are planning a celebration to mark the return of the Amtrak passenger trains to the Green Mountain State. Amtrak service in Vermont ended back in March 2020 when the pandemic first started. Now on July 19th, an event will be held at the Montpelier Amtrak station in Berlin to celebrate the service's return. Amtrak will also be offering $1 fares at several stations across the state, including Brattlesboro, Waterbury Street, Albany, and more.
The race to vaccinate this morning, the White House coming up short in its goal of getting 70% of American adults at least one COVID vaccine dose before the 4th of July holiday. Center for Disease Control said Friday that over 172 million Americans, or about 67% of the adult population, has received at least one shot. About 47% have received both doses needed to be fully immunized. Biden urging Americans during yesterday's 4th of July celebration at the White House to get the shot if they haven't already.
My fellow Americans, it's the most patriotic thing you can do. So please, if you haven't gotten vaccinated, do it. Do it now. For yourself, for your loved ones, for your community, and for your country.
Now, at a state level, approximately 20 states have reached the 70% vaccination goal, including Vermont, Massachusetts, and New York.
Meanwhile, as concerns grow over the new Delta variant, which is on track to become the dominant strain of COVID-19 here in the U.S., one study showing that the Johnson & Johnson one-shot vaccine is effective against it. J&J saying that their shot generated strong, persistent activity against that variant after a series of lab tests done on those who have received the dose. Additionally, the company announced that the single shot provided an immune response that lasts at least 8 months and counting.
Continuing coverage this morning, 11 suspects in custody after an hours-long standoff that happened along I-195 in Wakefield, Massachusetts. According to Mass State Police, standoff began around 2 in the morning Saturday with a group of, quote, heavily armed men who had initially refused to put down their weapons. The men, who were dressed in military-style tactical gear, carrying long guns and pistols, said that they were headed to Maine from Rhode Island for, quote, training. Several of the men took off into the woods alongside the highway as more police arrived to the scene, but eventually all surrendered.
People should feel confident right now that we have 11 people in custody. We have taken custody of a number of firearms, and we are continuing the investigation.
Police and prosecutors are working to determine the charges those members of this group will face.
Family and friends of fallen Capitol Police Officer Billy Evans finding a new way to honor that officer. Evans, a North Adams native, died during an incident at our nation's Capitol back in April. Evans' family plan to create the Billy Evans Memorial Scholarship. They will be holding a fundraising golf tournament in October, and the money raised will be awarded to Berkshire County High School seniors. Evans was killed on April 2nd when a driver rammed a steel barricade in Washington, D.C.
Investigators are trying to figure out how fireworks got set off inside a box truck out in western New York Saturday night. The incident happening in Pembroke, just outside Buffalo. Truck driver not hurt and was able to call 911.
Fortunately, with Pembroke, it's got an engine that's got a what they call a deck gun on the top, and we were able to shoot the water into the back, cool things down, put the fire out.
Officials say firework debris was found in nearby yards. Thankfully, no one was hurt.
And a teenager is being called a hero after alerting her neighbor that her house was on fire. 16-year-old Isabella Marlin saw a house in her neighborhood just outside Rochester was on fire after it was struck by a lightning around 1:30 on Friday morning. She says she probably wouldn't have been awake if not for her flight home from vacation being delayed. Marlin is happy the late flight proved to be life-saving.
I was complaining about that, but it's like if that didn't happen, I probably wouldn't have been able to save him because I know everyone else like near him was sleeping because we had to wake everyone else up.
After telling her parents to call 911, Marlin ran to her neighbor's front door, started knocking until she woke up, and the neighbor releasing a statement praising Marlin's actions and calling her a hero.
To Saratoga Springs now, where runners participated in this year's Firecracker 4 race. While the runners raced ahead, several community members marched behind to honor 2 local fallen heroes. Representatives from Flags for the Fallen carrying flags in memory of Cody Patnote, 26-year-old Army specialist from the Capital Region who was laid to rest at Saratoga National last month, and Abigail Jenks, the paratrooper who died during a training accident at Fort Bragg.
This flag will run many races. This flag's going to continue on, and that's why this is so important to me.
And once the race concluded, photos were taken with Abby's family. He gave the flag that he ran with to her sister.
And many were looking to get in the patriotic spirit this weekend, and one unique way to do just that is by visiting the Schoharie County Eagle Trail. The trail gives anyone a chance to get closer look at those local bald eagles. Now take a look at these images captured by nationally acclaimed wildlife photographer Bill Combs Jr. Combs helped develop that local trail, and it guides visitors through 16 different viewing areas to try and spot local bald eagles. The bald eagle has been the national bird since 1782. For more information on this local trail, visit our website, news10.com.
Beautiful. 4:40 right now on your Monday morning. Coming up here on News 10 ABC in the morning, a popular lifestyle site making a big change.
Up next, the ads you'll no longer be seeing on Pinterest and why the company is standing behind the decision.
And a history assignment gone horribly wrong, prompting a small New Jersey town to make things right. The latest on their newest Holocaust education initiative.
If you know of anyone, a group, a class, a sports team, perhaps even your office, giving back to the community and helping others in need, please let us know. We want to hear about it. Send us a picture at news@news10.com or hashtag it #GivingOn10.
You're watching News 10 ABC, your local news leader, with Christina Arangio, Ryan Peterson, Mary Wilson, and meteorologist Jill Szwed.
No, that's not some smoke left over after yesterday's fireworks display over the Empire State Plaza. Instead, we saw some fog settle in through the overnight hours, and there are some locations through the Hudson Valley into western New England where visibility could be as low as a half mile this morning. So for those of you that maybe are heading off to work, got some errands to run possibly first thing on this July 5th, be prepared for some of those reduced spots as we get the morning started. In fact, at Albany International, visibility down to a single mile this morning. Temperature is very comfortable. 54 degrees outside of those foggy conditions, and we will see a much nicer day all the way around coming in for this day after the 4th of July. Temperatures get a boost. It's been a cool holiday weekend so far.